welcome to a witchy weekend. I hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. This topic today is going to be on influence and persuasion used in magic. And whether or not it's ethical. Some people say it's not ethical to use spells to influence other people. Some people think it depends on the degree of persuasion or the degree of control that you're using on another person. However, I think it's important to understand that in our regular, mundane, everyday life, everything that we do, everything we say, everything we wear influences other people to some degree. An example is when you go on a first date or when you go on a job interview, you're going to wear your best clothes. You're going to make yourself look as absolutely presentable as possible. You probably are going to speak differently, or at least speak as intelligently as you can. And you're going to present yourself in the best light. Is this honest? Is it not honest? I think it's a little of both. You're presenting yourself, but to influence somebody. You're trying to make an impression. So this being said, just because it's not labeled as being magic, it is a type of persuasion. This type of stuff is taught in sales classes. You get a job in sales and they teach you certain tricks to draw in people and influence them to make a purchase. Things like when you say, what color can I get it for you in? Rather than saying, are you going to buy it or not? You're basically telling the person that they've already decided. You're making the decision for them. Even in marketing, a lot of commercials and magazine ads and things like that have things in the background or words that we can't even perceive that they're there. They come so quickly and disappear so quickly, but our brain has perceived them. And it will influence whether or not we're going to choose a certain product or make a certain decision. Alcohol ads are famous for that. They put women in the background, or they add sex in their ads. And this is all a form of manipulating the people, the customers. Also, there in Haiti, there is a thing called Zombification. This is a much more, actual magical act of controlling somebody. This is total control. This is not subtle influence or anything like that. Most of the magic used nowadays just simply plants a seed that will influence somebody one way or the other. It'll basically tip the scales. But something like this zombification in Haiti, that's nothing to do with that. That is total 100% mind control. This type of stuff is achieved by prolonged brainwashing, the use of psychoactive drugs, and intense magical ritual done over and over and over again. So these two things are direct versus indirect magical influence. Direct magical influence focuses directly on the target. You're doing magic directly on somebody or something to influence it. Indirect magic is magic that you do on yourself. This magic works, in my opinion, much better, much longer. It would be like doing a success type of thing on yourself. You're not influencing anybody else. You're just doing something to make yourself successful in the things that you're going to do. You can also anoint yourself with commanding oil, which is going to influence how you are perceived rather than doing something to control somebody else. Another example of doing direct magic would be making a puppet and commanding the puppet or doing things to the puppet that's going to affect what somebody else is doing. A good example of indirect magic is in 1904, a man named Archibald Leach came from England. He had a terrible childhood, a very poor family, and he decided to come to America to basically remake his life. He wanted to reinvent himself. So what he did when he came here was he studied people that were already successful. He watched their behavior, he saw how they dressed, and he used this to train himself. He trained himself on how they acted, taught himself to talk that way, dress that way, and he even changed his name. He saw that certain people who had the initials C and G together, like Clark Gable, were successful, so he changed his name to Cary Grant. And in a couple of his movies, you can see some hidden magical acts. In the movie Arsenic and Lace, in the background, one of the graves has his former name on it. It's a grave Archie Leach. Also in His Girl Friday, he says, the last man who said that to me was Archie Leach before he slit his own throat. So that's his way of basically killing the old self and making himself a new person. To develop the powers of influencing the self, you can use the powers of Jupiter. Jupiter is the commander. In the book I was talking about, The Sorcerer's Secret, which is where I got a lot of this information from, there's information on how to conjure the commander, special words you can use. But basically, it is about using both the magical and the mundane together. If you just do a spell without doing the work on yourself, you do a love spell and you show up in sweatpants with no makeup and your hair all messed up, you're not presenting yourself well. So it's about letting the two things work together. I'm going to make this into part 2, and I will be right back.